So there's two basic strategies to figure out how to work through a particular problem when upgrading a module. The first is to try to find examples of it inside of Drupal core or updated contributed modules. So that can provide a solid basis you can copy and paste from, for example, and it's most likely to be representative of the truth. The second choice is to search through documentation, and there's a few options there. You can of course use Google, but then on Drupal.org there are two places in particular that you should be aware of. The first is the Drupal 8 APIs page. So this is actually being kept pretty well up to date. Even though Drupal 8 hasn't been officially released yet, there's still some really good documentation here, and you can see that it's split up according to API. So if you know exactly what API you're going to be working with, for example, we're going to be working with the block API a lot here, you can go to there and kind of get a sense of what things have changed, how to get started, and so on. The other place that you'll want to look is in the change records. So this is on drupal.org/list changes. So most of the change records are going to be for Drupal 8 anyway, but as Drupal progresses and there's Drupal 9, Drupal 10, you're going to want to specify the version here of 8.x in order to find change records that apply specifically to Drupal 8. So if we apply this and we take a look, you can see that this is basically just documentation of major changes that have been made that's going to affect somebody directly. So for example, hook watchdog was removed, watchdog was deprecated. So if you're used to using watchdog or hook watchdog, this would be a change record that you would read in order to figure out how to adjust your code to work with Drupal 8. Hook help uses routes instead of paths. So this is actually a change record that will apply directly to us. We have a hook help in our module, and right now it's using paths. So instead of using paths, we're going to use routes. So this would be something that we'd want to look up as soon as we hit that point where we were ready to upgrade help. Right now, our goal is to just be able to install our module. So we're trying to figure out what's going on there. Now, sometimes this change record list is going to give you exactly what you need in order to upgrade or find the documentation you need to upgrade a particular component. Other times it's going to be a little hard. So for example, right now we can't install our module, but do we know why exactly? That's a little hard to say. So if we type install in our keywords, for example, the result here isn't very useful. Now, if you've worked with Drupal before, which of course you probably have if you're upgrading a module, then you probably know that the .info file is what's responsible for a module showing up on the module listing page. So let's try to do a search for .info and see if that pulls up anything. Okay, this doesn't look particularly useful either. Let's try info file. Okay, nothing. So I'm probably just not searching for the right thing here. That's okay, because we can also always check Google and see if something pops up there. So I'm going to open up a Google tab and let's do a search for upgrade Drupal 7 module to 8. So converting 7.x modules to 8.x. So this is actually a very useful resource. So you might want to take note of this URL and write it down somewhere. This isn't a complete guide, but it can help you get started. So even if we just look at this list of subjects here, we have before you start and step 1, convert mymodule.info to mymodule.info.yml. Now this step sounds like it speaks to us because we know .info has something to do with that module listing page.